Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sakshi and I'm an Indian living in Berlin, Germany. I wanted to make this video of how to get spouse visa in Germany because when I moved to Germany, I watched tons of videos on YouTube to get the whole process right, and it was so overwhelming because there was no one video which explained the difference between dependent visa, family reunion visa. What is the process of getting the whole visa applied and get it successfully? What is the cost of visa and things like that? So I wanted to make this video of the whole information that you should be knowing if you are applying for spouse visa in Germany from India. So if you are someone like me who is overwhelmed with all the information which is out there, then stay tuned and keep on watching because I'm sure all your questions around spouse visa will be answered in this video. So let's first talk about what is a spouse visa. Spouse visa is a visa that you can apply for if your spouse is already working in Germany or has got job in Germany. Now, what's the difference between a dependent visa and family reunion visa? Dependent visa you can apply for if your spouse is living in Germany for less than 6 months. If your spouse is already living in Germany for more than 6 months, then you should apply for family reunion visa. The second difference is that when you apply for dependent visa, you will not get the work permit in Germany. But in family union visa, you will get the work permit from the first hand itself. But there is nothing to worry about because when you'll get the dependent visa or family union visa, you will get it anyway for 3 months maximum, which you will have to extend once you come here because it's the whole different process and it's a story for some other video where you have to do the city registration, you have to do all the insurance policy and everything to extend your visa for stay in Germany. But there is nothing to worry about if you don't get work permit at first because it literally takes very less time once you come to Germany, and you can do the city registration and all the processes which we'll talk in some of the video, and you will get the extended visa under which you can work. So it really doesn't matter if you get dependent visa or family reunion visa. It's just that if your spouse is living in Germany for less than 6 months, then you can apply for dependent visa, which I personally liked. Why? Because when you apply for dependent visa, your visa comes really early. Like I got my visa in just 2 weeks. However, when you apply for family reunion visa, they do the marriage verification process, which will cause the delay of your visa, and it takes up to 3 to 6 months for visa to arrive. We'll talk more about this in detail in this video. But those were the key differences of dependent visa and family reunion visa. You can totally initiate the spouse visa process for your spouse or for yourself totally by yourself. You don't need an agent because the process is fairly very simple. There are just two requirements that you need in order to successfully apply for the visa. Number one is that your spouse should be working in Germany or should have got job in Germany, and you should have their work employment letter, right? Second thing is that in whatever house he or she is living, it should have the space of two people, and per person the requirement is 13 meters square. So if you're living in a house where two people will be staying, it should be at least 26 meters square, and then you should be good to go to apply for the visa. These are just the two requirements, and now let's talk about the process, the whole step-by-step process of how applying visa and getting the visa finally in hand looks like. So step number one is you need to book your visa appointment. You need to book your visa appointment from FS website, which I will mention in the description below, and you have to book it for yourself. That's the number one thing, even if you don't have all your documents ready in place, because it really gives you the appointment for next like 2 months or 3 months or even more. So make sure you book your appointment first and then start collecting your documents. Another very important thing that you have to consider is where you're booking your appointment for. So, meaning that if you are in Delhi, you can definitely apply in Delhi Embassy. But if you're living in Bihar, then you cannot apply in Delhi. You have to apply in Kolkata. So, make sure that you check where your district belongs in the visa category, in the embassy category, so that you can apply at the right place. Because for example, if you are in Bihar and you apply in Delhi embassy, then your appointment will be rejected on the day. So make sure you apply at the right VFS office. That being said, you have to make sure that you book the appointment as early as possible, because it really gives you appointment for like 3 months after or 4 months after. And even if you get appointment after 3 months or say 4 months, you can always keep refreshing it to see if there is a new slot that has come up, because a lot of time it happens that people cancel their slots, and as soon as they cancel, that slot opens up for you, but it goes away really quickly. So you have to keep refreshing at least 10 times a day. At least that's what I did, because when I booked my appointment, I got it for like after 3 months. But when I did the refresh multiple times in a day, I was able to get the appointment within like 20 days. So it's really up to you how many times you refresh it, and if someone cancels it, how quickly you get the appointment. Another thing to consider is that on one passport number, you can book only one reservation. So it's a risk that you will take when you keep refreshing and you get an early slot. You will have to cancel the slot which you have got earlier and then book the next slot. But really, it's a risk which is, I think, worth taking. But you have to be really quick, because those slots goes away really, really quickly. So just wanted to highlight that information. Now let's talk about step number 2, which is gathering all your documents. Now, once you have booked your slot, you know that your slot is coming up in next 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. You have all the time in world to collect all the documents. Few things to keep in notice is that you have to bring all the documents that they have mentioned in the checklist. I will mention the checklist in the description box below. Make sure to check that. Germans are very typical about the paperwork, so do not skip any document whatsoever. Few things to keep in mind when you are collecting all the documents which I have mentioned in the checklist below is that number one, your marriage certificate should be translated in German and it should be attested by you. This is one of the requirement which is not mentioned in the checklist, but they asked me when I went there to my appointment. So make sure you have your marriage certificate converted in German and it's attested by you. Second thing to keep in mind is that the picture that you're getting clicked for your visa application should be in German format. What is a German format? I'm going to mention that in the description box below, so make sure to check that out. But you have to get your picture clicked very clearly for the visa application. Your ears should be clearly visible, you should not be smiling, your face should be clear, your hair should not be coming on your face, things like that. They are very particular about these things, and if you skip this step, there is a high chance that your visa will be rejected. Third thing is that do not staple all your papers. In the checklist that I have mentioned below, there is like the order that they have mentioned. Take the papers in the same order, make 3 copies of the entire checklist, put them in the order, and do not staple them, because when you'll go there they will ask you each document one by one. And for example, if one of the document, for example your passport, has like one front and one back, don't staple it, put it separately, because this is how they ask for. Another important thing is that you have to take some pictures of your marriage for marriage verification, because they will really ask you for specific rituals that you did, and they will ask for the picture of that. So for example, sindoor lagana and mangal sutra pehnana, all of those things, these are the like core rituals of Indian marriages. So take pictures of that, and they will ask you during the process. Another thing, take all the documents, all the original documents of the entire checklist mentioned below. They will reject the photocopy if you don't have original, and they will compare it because obviously they want to see the originals as well. Another thing is that you have to book your travel insurance and flight tickets in advance when you go for your visa appointment. Travel insurance is a must. You cannot delay it or say no to it, because this is one of their main requirements. Another thing which is super important, which I did not do, is that you have to take the passport pictures of your spouse. And when I say passport picture, it's not just about the front and back and the visa stamp and all of those things. You have to take the blank pages photocopy as well, which is very strange to me. Like, why would you need blank paper photocopy? But they need it, and you have to put them in order, and you do not have to staple it. So it's a lot of papers, but this is something that they need, and you have to take it. Once you gather all of your documents, put them in order as per the checklist, and do remember all the points that I have just said to you. And now is the time where you have to finally get ready for your visa appointment day. So now is the day you will go to VFS office to get your visa application processed, right? Here's a tip. You have to reach to the venue at least 30 to 40 minutes prior to your appointment, because you don't want the risk of getting stuck in traffic or any miscellaneous thing that might come up at the end. Because if you miss your time of appointment, they will simply cancel your appointment. They will not wait or tell you that you can come after 15 minutes or wait for 15 minutes, things like that. They do not treat this thing, because Germans are very typical with time, and plus they give you appointment for specific slots, and if your slot is gone, that's simply gone. So reach the venue at least 30 to 40 minutes, and you can wait outside. There is a waiting area and it's really good, so that's fine. Once you reach the venue, make sure that you do not take any expensive things with you. For example, jewelry or multiple electronics, things like that. Why? Because you're not supposed to take these things inside, because they will take away these things from you and they will keep it in the locker. And even though it's a locker and you have the keys, but still it's not the safest thing in the world. So try avoiding taking multiple expensive things with yourself. Now, when you'll go inside for the interview, the person who will be taking your interview will ask you for documents like whatever there was there on the checklist. They will ask you one document at a time, and you will hand over the documents to them. And as you hand over the documents to them, they will put some tick on their checklist, and they will ask you for the originals itself. Once they have collected all your documents, then they will ask some questions from you to verify that is he or she really your spouse, if you know things about them, and just to cross verify all the documents that you have submitted and how much do you know about it. So I would highly recommend you to just go through all the dates, especially in your mind, because in my case, the person firstly, the person was Indian. There are no Germans. This was one of the doubt that I had in my mind, that will the person will be Indian or German, or will I be able to understand their accent, things like that. And really, I saw in the window that there were 5 to 6 windows where you go for the application, and all the windows there were Indians only. So you don't have to worry about that. It's just Indians. Sometimes they are asking you question in Hindi, sometimes they are asking you questions in English, and mine was in mix, so nothing to worry about. But you have to be really careful when you answer the questions they are asking from you. For example, in India, like sometimes people write the, like, not the official birth date, but they have different birth dates and things like that, right? Just memorize all the days really nicely, because if they get a hint that there is a mismatch in the information, you're confused, you're not sure, they will write down every damn thing. In my case, the interviewer asked me the questions like, when did your husband fly to Germany? Like, what was his date of boarding flight? And what's his date of birth? When did you guys get married? Where did you get married? And who all participated in the wedding? She asked me, who is your mother-in-law, who is your father-in-law, things like that, while seeing the pictures, things like that, that make sure that your marriage is legal and is in consent with every family member of your family. Be very careful when you answer those questions, because they will be writing every answer that you give. Later on, they will be confirming and cross checking all those answers with the documents you have submitted. And if you are applying for family reunion visa, your marriage verification process will happen, which we'll talk about in just a minute. And they will be confirming all of your answers with all of your family members. So be very careful with what you're answering, and if your whole family is on same page with those answers as well. So once your interview is done, they will give you a paper, like a slip. It's just a normal sticky note on when they write the date, and they'll just stamp it to pick up the passport, right? Because you have to submit your passport as well. But if you're applying for family reunion visa, you have to opt for SMS or an email update in the first step itself when you're booking your appointment, so that you get all the notification and all the updates via whatever source of communication you choose for. In my case, as I applied for dependent visa, I got a chit of, like, you can pick up the passport after 2 weeks. This gives you an assurity that everything went well and you are good to go. Else, they will just give you your passport back to you. At least this is what I've heard. I'm not sure if they give the passport back to you if they want to reject it. But in my case, they gave me a sticky note with the date of the pickup of the passport, and they put a stamp so that when I went, I just gave the sticky note at the gate and the gatekeeper got my passport to me. It was really that simple. If you're applying for dependent visa, as I said earlier, your visa will come earlier, maybe in 2 to 3 weeks or maximum a month. But if you're applying for family reunion visa, you have to wait for 3 to 6 months to wait for your visa. And if you drop them an email or a follow up email, they will not entertain you, at least if your appointment was within 3 months. So, 3 months is the minimum time that you have to wait and even expect to hear an answer from them. Now, finally, once you have done the interview, now's the time for step 4, which is your marriage verification process. Now, if you are in dependent visa, the marriage verification will not take place. However, if you are in family reunion visa, then your marriage verification process will take place. So it happened with my one of the family members, and I want to talk about her experience. So what happened was that people from the embassy or VFS office, they came at our place, like at the girl's house and at the boy's house, and the entire family was supposed to sit together to answer some of the questions that they were asking at the girl side and at the boy side both. So number one, the whole family will be sitting together to answer the question from both the sides. Number two, they will be asking you lots and lots and lots of questions regarding when was your wedding, what's the date of birth of girl or boy, where did they went for honeymoon, when did the boy fly to Germany, or show me your album, who are the people that are that have come to the wedding, things like that. And they might ask you very personal questions as well, which is obvious, that if you have any kids, if your husband separately from another marriage has kids, things like that. But The whole point of this whole questionnaire is that they want to be very sure that the marriage was done with the consent of both the families. Number two, it's not a fraud. And number three, that all the information that you have provided is legal and authentic. So if both the families are on the same page with the questions, then this gives them more clarity that all the information that you have provided is authentic, there is no problem, there's a consent of both the families, and everything is good. So once they ask you all the questions, your visa can come from 3 to 6 months, and you will get notified via email or the phone that you have opted for in the step one itself. Moving on to the next step, which is finally the visa pickup date. Now, if everything goes well, if you were under dependent visa category, you will go to the VCF office, VFS office, and you will pick up your passport. And if you have applied for family reunion visa, then you will get an email and you will just simply go there and you will pick up your passport to the office. And this is how the whole process of getting a visa take place for spouse in Germany. That's what I have for you today. I really hope you found this video to be helpful, comprehensive, and this answered all of your questions. If you have any questions, do let me know in comment section below. I make sure that I reply to every single comment and can help you with whatever information I have from my experience or my family members' experience. That being said, I will be uploading a lot of life in Germany for Indians and for other nationalities on this channel every single Sunday. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and like this video. And I'm really looking forward to building a community of people who want to live in Germany or who just embrace the lifestyle in Germany. It's so beautiful, it's so fulfilling, which you will see me talking about in upcoming videos. So that's it for today's video. I really hope this video was helpful to you. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, and I will see you next Sunday very soon. Bye everyone. Have a great day.